no, okay. This video is going to be about ASMRs. I just do not have the patience for that. This week's video is specifically going to be about how to set up an ideal ASMR session. Going a little bit outside of my comfort zone today. Audio scares me, so maybe at the end of the day it's gonna be good for me. First of all, just to get this part out of the way, because I feel like nobody ever actually explains what an ASMR is. That acronym stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. I know it sounds a little sci-fi. Basically, what that term is explaining is like the phenomenon of like a certain sound or audio event invoking a physical response in someone. People find these ASMR sessions really satisfying, and I definitely do too, to a certain degree. But on the technical end of things, the idea of an ASMR definitely poses some interesting challenges from like the production point of things. Choosing microphones based on their different pickup patterns, arranging them so they capture audio in the optimal way, but also knowing what to do with all of those separate audio tracks to edit it in what I assume like 99% of the time a video project. I feel like it's the pairing of both of those that makes these so darn satisfying to people. So basically for the remainder of this video, I just sort of wanted to walk through my setup here, identify each piece of gear, each mic, and also a pretty surface level explanation of what I'm doing on the editing side of things in my computer. So first, let's start with my field mixer or multi-track recorder, whatever you want to call it. Right off the bat, I knew that I was going to need to get a bunch of microphone inputs into one device and then have that be recognized as an audio device to shoot out to my computer. So that is where my handy Zoom H6 comes in. And this guy is actually going to serve a dual purpose today, but purpose number one, I'm using it to get 4 XLR mics going into this H6 where I'm able to see those levels, do some quick adjustments, quick EQ and all that. But two of the most important things this H6 is going to allow me to do, it's going to allow me to assign phantom power via those XLR inputs to the mics that need it. And B, like I said just a second ago, I'm going to be able to tell the H6 it's going to be used as a audio interface device that's going into a computer. Both super important for the ASMR like experience. Now, remember the second purpose from that dual purpose. This H6 is also going to act as another microphone. It dedicates 2 separate tracks for any microphone attachments from this H6 kit that you put on top here. One being this little microphone ball. This is an omnidirectional pickup pattern, which is actually perfect for certain really up close and personal mic stuff. As for the rest of my microphones here, the next 2 get a tad complicated, but it's like the most involved thing we'll be talking about here. And if I can figure it out, you definitely can too. So mounted off this top rail here, I have 2 Sennheiser MKH416 shotgun microphones. These microphones have a super cardioid pickup pattern, meaning they are ultra directional. So why 2 of them? Just to make this setup look scary? Yes, but also that's because I'm going to assign each of these microphones to the left and right channels of one stereo audio track. That concept is hugely helpful for audio and a lot of other things out there in the audio world, but specifically for an ASMR, that is crucial. But for now, moving on to our next mic in this setup, you'll see in the middle I have what's basically like a smaller version of these 416 mics, also from Sennheiser. This is an MKH8060. The idea for this one is that the 2 microphones on the left and right of it are so directional that I actually thought it would be a decent idea to sort of like fill in the gaps in case either of these are missing anything specific. And if you're asking if that really matters, it does. Each additional mic you add in an ASMR setup like this provides another opportunity for a much more fine-tuned equalization. Say I wanted to cut a frequency out of these 2 that I only wanted that middle one to pick up, or vice versa. All right, and for our last microphone of the day, this is the Sennheiser MD46. And the reason I brought this into the mix today, these like stage style mics are particularly good for voice capture and also bass frequencies. My voice trends on like the lower boomier side of things, which can be problematic for certain mics. So if this was like a voice-centric ASMR, I would make sure to get a lot of that captured in this MD46. So altogether, we have 5 microphones set up for this ASMR subject, but there's still one pretty crucial step in this process I wanted to walk you through, which actually you don't have to do, but I really recommend it. Earlier, I said this Zoom H6 was feeding all of these tracks into my computer via a USB. This is hugely helpful because in whatever program or software you're using to manage all this, that'll be just a larger screen to monitor all this off of. This is also just going to give me a lot more granular control over each track, adding effects, doing a deeper level of equalization and mixing. And today, to do this, I'm actually using GarageBand. So there are a lot of other softwares that you can do, like Audacity, Adobe Audition, just any decent music production software. But if you're woefully unfamiliar with any audio stuff like this, I totally recommend using GarageBand. And that is going to be the software of choice for this tutorial moving forward. So once the Zoom H6 was connected via USB, I was very easily able to assign that as the audio input for my computer in my preferences here. It comes right up as H6. And now here I am in GarageBand, and each time I add a new track in here, it already knows that I'm using the H6 to do all this. And if it didn't, I would just tell it. Here is also where I'm going to tell the program if the source is mono or stereo, and you'll notice it groups the stereo option into 3 groups of 2 tracks, and that's exactly what I did with these 2 Sennheiser 416s. That's going to consolidate both of these microphones into one stereo track. Awesome. Now when I'm ready to record a session, hit that big shiny red button, and whenever it's time to stop it, either just hit record again or stop. And now for exporting. This did bring me to the one annoying thing about GarageBand, but GarageBand is going to default to mixing all of those sources down into one audio file. So just a quick extra step in the process here if I'm using GarageBand, but I'm actually going to individually export all of those tracks as each mic that they were to get that like stack of 4 audio tracks or whatever. And I'm going to do this in case I want to do any manipulating to those while I'm editing that into video. Also, probably should have said this before, but a decent pair of headphones would definitely help in the process of this with stereo, like left or right stuff. Okay, so I know that was pretty surface level, and you might even be leaving this video with more questions than you had answers, but any negative emotion you are feeling right now can be remedied with the calming, tranquil experience that is the ASMR. So pretty much the rest of this video, I'm just going to be rolling some of these different ASMR sessions. I'm going to try to fly in a couple of different subjects, get some voice stuff going, get some touchy feely, crinkly stuff going. I'm not really sure, honestly. Let's just roll the thing.
got some burlap in the house. Let's just kind of... That is satisfying. Oh, that was pretty good. All right, let's pour this thing. All right, we're gonna do one of these matches again since it was so cool. Sick. The match has got to be my favorite so far. Okay, let's do a